Hey Thomas. So I want to talk a little bit about your collaboration with Tyler Hubbard and Russell Dickerson on your new song Death Row. That song has a really interesting and unique concept behind it. What inspired you to write about something like that? Can you kind of talk about the story behind that song?
Sure. It still sort of processing it to this day, and I'm still trying to figure out how to even explain what we felt that day. But I mean, as quickly as possible, me and Tyler Hubbard and Russell went and visited a men's prison in Nashville last year with a friend of ours named Al, who does a prison ministry here in Nashville. And I honestly did not know that that was a thing. And I really didn't want to go because I just was kind of freaked out, to be honest with you. And Tyler was like really adamant about going, so I went with him, and we brought our guitars and walked into this just like super heavy environment, you know. And I think our job that day was just to spread a little bit of joy and bring a little bit of light into a place that is ultimately, you know, pretty dark. I mean, maybe the darkest that you could experience. And we walked in, and it was like real quick after we got done playing the songs, we started to like ask ourselves, like, do we shake their hands? Do we mingle? And if you do mingle, like, what do you say? You know what I mean? Like, a lot of those folks have been in there for 30 plus years. And I think in your brain, you go, they must be so out of touch with reality, like what's happening. And all of a sudden we're sitting there talking about turkey season coming up, you know, and we're talking about bass that we caught, and we talking about college football and old country music. And next thing you know, it kind of felt like we were just talking to people that we had known for a long time. And I think ultimately what I learned that day is that we've all made decisions in our lives that we wish we could take back, you know, and to not judge a book by its cover. And I think we get into that bridge by saying, like, you know, we can't judge their soul. You know what I mean? Like, from a world perspective, that's the worst thing you could ever do in life. You know what I mean? And they're there for a reason. And so, like, I'm not trying to like get into like anything that I believe about anything. All I know is that I left being like, I thought those people were going to be monsters, and they turned out to be very remorseful, sadder than anyone I've ever met about something that they had done in their life. And it made me look at my life, and I go, God, like, the things I've done in my life, are there people that I need to say sorry to? Are there people that I need to forgive? Like, and so I didn't really know how to register all of that except for to write it. And the only way I knew how to write it was to write it verbatim of how it happened. And I really didn't even know that I wanted it to be on the record at all. And I started playing it for friends and for family. And I think a lot of them were just like, I think there's some people in the world that should hear that. And so it came out, and the reaction has been really, really neat to it. A lot of interesting conversations have come of it. And just a lot of neat feedback. So I'm glad that we decided to put that on the record. So thanks for asking that.
I also wanted to talk about your collaboration with Katy Perry on this album for Where We Started. What kind of made you guys want to get together and do a song with each other?
We finished that song in the studio and got it mixed, and there was someone at our label named Allison who has been with me since really day one, and she called me and said, I was thinking that this song could use a feature. And I asked her who she was thinking about, and she said, well, I really want to send it to Katy Perry's camp. And that really caught me off guard and like really came out of left field. And I was like, it doesn't really fit with like the other collaborators on this album. And also, she probably has no idea who I am, and she probably is not going to respond to this email, but you should try. And so she sent it to her, and Katy literally responded the next day, just talking about how much she resonated with the song. And, you know, it wasn't 24 hours later that me and Katy were FaceTiming, and she was asking, like, what parts should she sing, and should she take a chorus? Like, you know, I was like, I love this song. I feel it. And it took her about a week to get the vocal back to me. When I heard it, it just felt like it was supposed to be that way the entire time. And since then, we've recorded a music video together, finally got to meet her in person. She's awesome to be around, super hard worker, and just insanely talented vocalist and performer. So I'm excited. I think it's kind of a little bit of a left field play, but I think that when people hear this, they're going to really enjoy it.